Have you ever like eaten eggs?
Yes. Love eggs.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. Thursday, December 12th, 2024. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Taz Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby. Hey-yo. And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Hello to everybody on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe. Podcast listeners, we love you too. Leave your boys a 5-star rating and review. Let's get in to the NBA Cupdate. 2 more quarterfinal games last night. First one, you guys were on playback for. The Hawks, rally for the 108-100 victory over the Knicks and a trip to the NBA Cup semifinals. Taz Mellis can see the Hawks in Vegas, baby.
Yeah, baby. I thought your caca would have a little more flair. Yeah, because the Hawks did.
It was an ugly game for a majority of it, but man, what a third quarter from Atlanta.
It was a beautiful third quarter. I was surprised the Knicks came out of that locker room and laid a bit of a dud. They just did not have the same fight that the Atlanta Hawks did, especially to start. I mean, the offensive end, first possession, they're beyond the three-point line. The ball didn't enter the three-point line for 24 seconds. The Hawks did a good job of pushing up every single possession, and they got after it on the offensive end. A lot of guys, Trae Young, started setting up guys with the Jalen Johnson, no dunk. Jalen Johnson came alive. You saw huge block from Zachary Risachet turning into a Jalen Johnson, and one opportunity missed the free throw. But here comes Dyson Daniels for the tip-in. I mean, I'm naming a bunch of guys because all of their guys really, truly performed to start that quarter. A big problem, not getting into the three-point line and not getting into their sets, was Dyson Daniels doing a pretty good job on Jalen Brunson.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Jalen Brunson shook Dyson Daniels in the corner like he was shaking a Dyson vacuum filter. He shook him. Dyson Daniels looked like he got lost there, but he recovered fast enough to block Brunson's shot. I mean, I'm talking about the effort and what they were doing out there because you don't see these type of numbers very often. They grabbed 40% of their misses. That's a freaking huge number. 22 offensive rebounds for them, 5 from Okongwu, 5 from Dyson Daniels, 4 from Jalen Johnson and Capella. I mean, the Knicks haven't allowed 20 offensive rebounds in Madison Square Garden in 3.5 years, and that was an overtime game. That just doesn't happen very often, but there's so many guys. Trey mentioned it as we were previewing the game. I'm mentioning all the guys who are starting, but the bench players, after Risachet went to the bench for DeAndre Hunter. DeAndre Hunter's freaking playing great offensively, but he's also a damn good defender, and he was getting after it on the offensive glass. I mean, holding the Knicks, these Knicks, Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson to 100 points on 99 possessions. One team wanted to go to Vegas just a little bit more. It's true. I was surprised to see how flat they were in that third quarter because the Hawks were lousy in that first half.
Yeah.
They couldn't shoot.
And that's what crazy to me was, like, Mike Breen on the broadcast kept saying, the Hawks haven't shot well, but it's their defense that's kept them in the game.
Yep.
Before this season, Trey, that would have been followed by the loudest said no one ever of all time. We never say that about the Hawks over the last 4 or 5 years, but it was true in this game. It did keep them alive until the shots started falling in the third quarter there.
Yeah, 15 turnovers for the Knicks. Also, like Taz mentioned, 22 offensive rebounds for the Hawks. They took 11 more shots, and they ran all the time, I thought, in the second half on misses, on turnovers, even on makes. 20-10 fast break points. They just looked like the bigger, more athletic team out there. We've seen similar things happen with Jalen Brunson, right? In the Sixers series last year, he started 16 for 55 from the field. It was Batum and Kelly Oubre were kind of giving him trouble. Eventually, he figured it out, ripped off a string of 40-point games. That's in a series. This is a one-game elimination tournament, and that's why it's so exciting. I was super impressed with Trae Young, a tale of two Trays. First half, they were playing him to pass, and he didn't expect it. Twice in the first 5 minutes of the game, he drives into the lane on a pick and roll. He's trying to do the thing where he jumps up in the air, the defender comes to him for the floater, he drops it to Capella for a dunk or an alley-oop. But the Knicks played it smart. They backed off. Towns 2 steals right off of that. In the second half, Trey come out looking to score. In the third quarter, he went 3 of 5 from the field, 5 assists, 0 turnovers during that huge run. Then they had to start blitzing him late in fourth quarter, 4 assists, 0 turnovers, threw so many alley-oops. They were getting into the small pick and rolls with either Daniels or Jalen Johnson, both guys with double letter names. I never really thought of it that way, but it was smart. They would get the ball to those guys, and they were able to make plays for everybody else. That's the benefit of having a couple of secondary playmakers. They never did that with DeJounte Murray. That's just not his game. But that is Jalen Johnson's game. That is Dyson Daniels' game. They were making smart decisions. And then you mentioned DeAndre Hunter is Cup Michael Jordan. It was insane seeing him go off like that in Madison Square Garden. He's hitting catch and shoot 3-pointers. If they switched a small guy on him, put him in the basket, finish easily with a dunk. He's catching alley-oops. Super impressive. This is like the best 3-week stretch he's ever had. This is the best the Hawks have looked since Quinn Snyder got to Atlanta. True. They're peaking right now. Bring the cup home. Yeah. That's all I can say.
When DeAndre Hunter, I guess bullied, if you want to call it that, campaign on the baseline and dunked it, I did a spit take. I was like, whoa. It's one thing for DeAndre Hunter to be hitting some 3-pointers. He's in a groove, obviously a little more committed defensively. I can't remember many times, Trey, watching DeAndre Hunter, who many times I've called maybe the most overrated player in this league or the most disappointing player, do that. Yeah. That jumped out to me. I was like, holy crap. Yeah, he is locked in. This entire team is. Everybody contributing. But the Hunter, I think he had Charles Barkley saying this guy's going to be an all-star. What the hell? This is like a quick turnaround for DeAndre Hunter here.
It feels like we've got a lot of award candidates right now for the Hawks, because I'm like, if they play this well until we get to the all-star break, they're going to have at least one all-star.
Yeah.
Is it Trae Young, who you assume is the leader of the team? Or is it Jalen Johnson, who's having an awesome season? Is it DeAndre Hunter, who him going to the bench completely turned around the Hawks season? Then you get into the MIP race. Is it Jalen Johnson? Or is it DeAndre Hunter? DeAndre Hunter's in year 6, and suddenly he's good? That's amazing. Him going to the bench was so huge because he's a decent defender. I wouldn't say he's a good defender, but he's a good defender when he's on the bench, and he's a good defender when he doesn't have to guard the number 1 ball handler. That's Dyson Daniels' job.
Yeah. And Hunter has a chance to win 6th Man of the Year the way this is going, too. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And he was monstrous in this game, just being able to outdo the Knicks bench. The Hawks bench was just so much better than the Knicks bench.
43-14 for the Hawks.
What a monstrous number. I mean, yeah, DeAndre Hunter just looks like a different player coming off the bench. He literally looks like an all-star. I think that's what Charles Barkley is watching. And yeah, Trae Young is probably going to get that accolade. But this is a game like many of their games where Trae Young doesn't shoot all that well. He shot 36% from the floor, but he did good enough things, setting up guys like 4 big assists in the first few minutes of that third quarter to start setting things up. And Reece Shea goes to the bench, as I said. DeAndre Hunter comes in, who plugged in extremely well. Onyeka Okongwu comes in for Clint Capella, who's looking a little past his age, but Onyeka Okongwu was awesome, grabbing great. 5 offensive rebounds. Yep. Bogdan Bogdanovic comes on, had a huge recovery block in this game. So those guys just had some serious effort. And you probably think of the defense with this Atlanta Hawks team, like the last few weeks, as you said, they've played above their level. They're top 10 defense the last few weeks. What? You wouldn't think that. And you'd think Dyson Daniels must have had 1 billion steals. He leads the league in steals. He leads the league in deflections. He had 0 steals in this game. But he just played a damn good job against Jalen Brunson. It was just there. He was just there as that tertiary guy. I mean, I thought the secondary playmaker was Jalen Johnson. He got it going in that second half. He was monstrous. I mean, that line from him is
21 points, 15 boards, 7 assists. That's becoming like very normal for him too.
Yeah,
those type of numbers.
Couple steals and a couple blocks too.
Yeah,
monstrous.
So Trae Young at the end of the game, after they got the victory, he's got the ball at half court. Decides to shoot some dice there on the Knicks logo in MSG, playing a little craps. He said, quote, "I planned that one with my little brother a few days ago." You could tell he had it chambered.
Yes.
Because he was sort of almost fumbled what he was going to do with the ball, what hand he was going to shoot the dice with. But what'd you think of that, TK? And I guess he also had like the point when he hit a bomb there in the third quarter when he had his little mini run. He's leaning into being the villain in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, he was skipping after the DeAndre Hunter alley-oop. Earlier in the day, he had said, "I don't like being a villain." What a liar. Yeah. The guy had a Vegas-themed celebration planned with an explanation for what was going on. Back-to-back 8s, good rolls for Trae Young. But yeah, that was awesome. That's why he's going to be a villain in Madison Square Garden until he retires.
Yeah.
He really is the Reggie Miller of our generation.
And it's great.
I mean, Reggie was, but this generation's Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
And I like it because so many times we talk about all these guys, the brotherhood, they all love each other, everybody dab each other up. And not that they like the Knicks players hate Trae Young, but it's fun to have a fan base that's like, not this guy, anybody but this guy. And like you said, it wasn't even a lights out Trae game, but so obviously he's like leaned into being more of a playmaker, picking his spots more, and he started that timely run and then of course finished it off.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad he was 3 of 11 in the second half. He wasn't lights out because the celebration would have came earlier. I'm the Iceman. Would have came a little bit earlier, may have got under the Knicks' skin a little bit too early, I think. But he was so damn good at setting guys up. 9 assists in that second half, and he adores being a villain. I think he really loves it because he's damn good at it.
Right.
But he's also good at setting up these guys. And now that they have Jalen Johnson as a secondary playmaker, Dyson Daniels to do that, and then off the bench come guys who can score all of a sudden. And DeAndre Hunter and Bogdan, they're a complete team.
So are the Hawks
stuff.
the surprise team here of the tournament? When you consider that they did knock off the defending champ Celtics and the then NBA leading Cleveland Cavaliers in the same group to reach this knockout stage and then to advance to Vegas. I know the Rockets have a bit of a Cinderella run here too, but they've been really good all year. Are the Hawks the Cinderella Cup team?
I think so. I wonder what I should have checked, but their record before Cup play even started, because it's kind of been in concert with group play starting in the Cup that they really turned it on here, and they've beaten like 3 of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, any of which they could potentially see in the playoffs further on down the road. Good right point. Like they could be the 5 seed to any of these teams finishing in the 4 or something like that. So cool. Just
Good
cool.
Point.
Hilarious.
Any other Knicks thoughts or anything like that from what you saw from them? Foul trouble for Karl Anthony Towns. He had a monster line in the end, 1919. You already talked about Brunson. I think Daniels, if he didn't turn the Brunson burner completely off, but he diminished it. Quite a bit. The flame went down. I think he shot 5 of 15, and he was in a bit of a jail there all night. Anything else jump out to you?
I mean, the Hawks defense was monstrous. I think they are sort of like the Indiana Pacers were last year going into the NBA Cup. They are this year's Pacers team, being able to go to Vegas. That's what it feels like, although the Pacers did it with offense. And the Hawks, again, holding the Knicks to 100 points on 99 possessions, that would make them the worst team in the league offensively. So that was it's a different lineup, different setup than the Indiana Pacers. Although I did want to see when Karl Anthony Towns, got into foul trouble or Jalen Brunson wasn't having his game. I wanted to see the Mikal Bridges. I know he hasn't been that guy. He hasn't been what they thought they were getting in Brooklyn, what they thought, I guess, they were getting when they dropped all these draft picks for him. But to take over a little bit, I mean, he had a good game overall, but there needed to be another guy, and he was not that guy, unfortunately. And obviously, they want their defense to come back, and Mitch Robinson's going to be a part of that. But yeah, I just wanted to see a little bit more Mikal. Didn't happen.
Were you going to be wearing that T-shirt when you're in Vegas? Walking around, high-fiving all the Hawks fans in beautiful Nevada?
Which Hawks fans are going to be there? That is the question.
Oh, that's a great question, Tess. Yeah. You might be the only one in a Hawks shirt. I don't know.
Well, there were some Trae Young fans in Madison Square Garden that were cheering.
Yeah, okay.
Will they be getting on a plane to go to Atlanta? I don't know. Trae brought it up yesterday that he's going to be packing some Hawk stuff. So I thought of that. I'm like,
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm putting this on. I'm putting on my Malcolm Delaney jersey.
Wow. Well, I know you'll be the only person in Vegas wearing that jersey.
Yeah. When the Hawks unleashed those uniforms with the patterns on them and the Volt.
Oh, like the triangle
Volt yellow.
ones?
Yeah. Those ones that they had the mix and match shorts and jersey. It feels like a billion years ago.
Is that a game-used jersey? Why is there a Malcolm Delaney jersey?
I guess they were practicing the printing process. I guess I'm guessing
they liked the letters in Delaney to see how
I have no idea. I mean, that's a freebie at NBA TV.
Sure.
That's what that was.
Sure.
Well, they sent me a Ben Simmons Sixers one. Well, same difference.
Wow, when you put it that way.
But yeah, it's gonna be a major Atlanta weekend. The Falcons play Monday Night Football in Las Vegas.
Wow.
Against the Raiders.
Hell yeah.
So Saturday I'm going to be Hawksed out. Sunday and Monday I'll be wearing my Sunday's gear, courtesy of my guy Larry, who is not coming. You thought maybe Larry was coming. He's a guy that could have a Malcolm Delaney jersey, but
Yeah,
even
that's
he's
true.
not going to be there.
Should we bring Waffle House or something like that with us?
They don't have one there, huh?
I don't think so. Yeah.
You would think that'd be a perfect place. 24 hours. Come on.
That's I don't think they do though.
Yeah, let's open one.
Yeah. Well,
I'm in.
well, we got to get Grisham get us some tickets for the Las Vegas football team.
Yeah, they're not coming easy. I had an update last night.
On the football tickets?
Yeah, on the football tickets.
Oh.
He's got 2. But that is for him and his son.
Okay.
He's working on others. I know he's got some exchange programs going on with NBA Cup tickets. TBD, okay?
Okay.
TBD. I mean, we could also just buy them. I don't know how much a Hawks or
It's like 100 to get in right now.
Falcons Raiders ticket. Yeah, aren't the Raiders garbage?
Yeah, they're bad.
okay.
It's like 400 levels are 100.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll find out.
Yeah, I was looking.
Let's talk about the other game from last night in the association. The Rockets advancing to the semifinals, with a controversial finish, which sort of left the Warriors and their fan base, and especially their coach, stunned. We have the clip here. I'll set it up for everybody. Warriors up by 1 in the final seconds. Curry misses a 3-point attempt. There's a scramble for the loose ball. Bodies hit the floor. Gary Payton II gets possession of the rebound, but Van Vliet sort of slides on top of him, so GP2 flings it to Kuminga at the free throw line. Kuminga and Jalen Green hit the floor for the loose ball, and Kuminga is called for a personal foul with 3.5 seconds left. Steve Kerr, in disbelief, new Steve Kerr meme has dropped. Green would go to the line and bury both free throws to give them the lead, and then they held on at the end, doing a good job of taking the ball from Curry. And, well, Curry got it, flipped it right back to Podziemski, and he was blocked at the end. But Kerr, very pissed off with this call on Kuminga for that loose ball scrum. He said, quote, "I'm pissed off. I wanted to go to Las Vegas. We wanted to win this cup, and we aren't going because of a loose ball foul 80 feet from the basket with the game on the line. I've never seen anything like it in my life, and that was ridiculous." He had a lot more to say. I think he compared it to they wouldn't call that like in an elementary school game type of thing. He also said, and I think a real reason why he was pissed off, this game was a wrestling match for a majority of it. There's not a lot of free throws. They were sort of letting the boys play. And then you call this sort of at the end. But what did you think of the call from Bill Kennedy there on the foul, I guess, on Kuminga there?
Oh, Billy. I did not agree. I thought yes, he grabbed his arm.
Right,
He grabbed his shoulder.
right.
But that's something you just don't call. And I understand why Steve said that. You don't see that called on the floor. You don't see whistles called like that. Steve thought about it for a second. He said, "Oh yeah, I did see it 30 years ago in an NCAA game."
Okay, sicko. Yeah.
Cool.
Great line.
But
And then a lot of Warriors fans saying, like, how was it much different than what Van Vliet did to Gary Payton II? Sort of, we see this a lot, right? The first guy hits the floor for the loose ball, grabs it, in comes the opposition, sort of dives on the guy to try and tie it up. Yeah, and a lot of times you don't see it called. And that's, I guess, pretty similar to what Kuminga did to Jalen Green. Maybe he was on his shoulder more, but yeah. It's shocking, and he was very upset, Trey.
I think he may have also just been upset at his Warriors offense the last couple minutes.
God. Yes, he should be, and we can get into
yeah.
that. But the call itself did decide it in the end. At least Jalen Green going to the free throw line, Trey.
Yeah, I think unfortunately everybody's right here. I'm with you. I think Bill Kennedy made the right call. That was a foul, especially the way he described it. He did like the arm motion that Kuminga did, and then you watch back the replay, and it's identical.
Yeah.
Like he did. Like Bill Kennedy, incredible body control to be able to do the exact same foul.
Yeah.
But also could have been a foul on Fred Van Vliet doing the same thing to Gary Payton II, and only 19 total free throws in this game, including those two. This was a super physical game, so kind of odd to see it not get called on Fred Van Vliet and then called seconds later on Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, when everybody's right, the call has to stay the way it did, and it didn't go the way that the Warriors wanted it to.
Yeah. Bill Kennedy explained to a pool reporter after the game, quote, "The defender makes contact with the neck and shoulder area." Name him, Bill. Say his name, Bill.
Defender.
Warranting a personal foul to be called. That's his thinking.
The referees are really expanding their vocabulary and what they're saying on the mic. It feels like they're almost becoming like UFC referees in a way. Like they're just expanding what they're saying, and they're really getting into it, and they're good at it. And I think they could also have a third voice talking to them from Secaucus from the replay center saying, this is what we're seeing. And then Bill Kennedy gets on the mic and the entire arena hears what he's saying. So it's really changing. So that's fine. It's fine in a weird way that was. It's unfortunate that that's the way it ended.
No one wants a game. Nobody wants like that. That's what Kerr's getting at here. He's like, you let these guys go crazy for 47 minutes and 57 seconds, and then suddenly we're gonna call like the guys are like they're all hitting the floor for the ball. Like even Kerr was like, give them the timeout.
Yeah.
Like don't decide it. Don't call the foul. Just say Rockets timeout. Give them the ball at least. You can at least you can swallow that a little easier.
I think you can ridicule the Warriors and say, why didn't you call a timeout? Why didn't Gary Payton II get one?
Yes.
And Steve Kerr could have been called for a technical. I mean, the guy was on the floor basically arguing. Either way, it is unfortunate. At the same time, I was happy to see defense. For all those people who say, they don't play defense anymore. The last few minutes, those Houston Rockets ate up the Golden State Warriors. They were up 7 points with 3.5 minutes left. And then they were outscored 9-1 the rest of the way. Just because the Rockets were awesome. They were so good at it. I mean, possession after possession after possession. Jalen Green was guarding Steph Curry. Ate him up so the ball gets to Draymond Green in the corner. Comes into the middle. Misses a shot. An air ball, really. Next one, Curry couldn't get it off a shot. Shot clock violation. Next one, Draymond Green passed to Kuminga, went out of bounds, unfortunately. Next one, Steph Curry missed a step back three. That was kind of close. And then the next one was the Brandon Podziemski shot that did not go down. I mean, it was just a miss after miss after miss. Houston was awesome.
Yeah, that Draymond Green was a terrible turnover to the cutting Kuminga
a
couple of possessions prior. What do you think of Steph Curry's shot? That's getting some blowback here this morning. Like, what are you doing, Steph? Pretty early taking that shot. Any issue with the greatest shooter of all time taking a step back three? Or what do you think?
I mean, it was a good look. How many times has Steph Curry hit that shot and then gone for the night-night? That's what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
He was trying to end the game there. Should have ran the clock out because the ball would have been in the air long enough if he held it. The Warriors got the ball back. 27 seconds left. Steph Curry has a lot of arc on his shot. By the time it hits the rim and rebounds off, think about how much time went off the clock in the situation it did. They could have obviously won this game had Curry hung on to the ball, or if he shot the ball better in the fourth quarter. 1 for 4 from the field. They got threes from Kuminga, from Podziemski, from Lindy Waters in the fourth quarter. The support players showed up for the Warriors in this game. Curry did not have a good game. If he plays an average game, this is an easy win for Golden State, but it was a turnover festival. He never looked comfortable. I didn't think he had a nice little moment in the third quarter where he had a couple of back-to-back three-point plays. I think that was nice, but the Rockets were just all over the Warriors. 22 turnovers for Golden State, turned into 30 points for Houston. They forced 6 shot clock violations in this game.
Yeah.
Incredible.
There were so many in the fourth.
Yeah.
There was multiple Warriors shot clock violations. Great defense from the Rockets, for sure.
Yeah, literally, those possessions that I went through, there was 2 shot clock violations in the last 3 minutes. That's defense, man. And Steph Curry had an opportunity when I said he couldn't get a step back three. He had an opportunity to take one with 1:40 left. If he really just let it bomb from 28 feet, if he was in that flow. But the Houston Rockets did a freaking good job at making him feel uncomfortable. And that set the tone for the rest of the game. And that's why Steph didn't shoot that. And that's why the Golden State Warriors didn't get loose. I mean, that's why we all look and we say, Jimmy Butler could be used on that team, or some sort of third offensive player.
Jimmy Butler could have been used in that football game last night for sure. He would have been loving that one for sure. The way how physical they're playing. I mean, that's the thing. My takeaways from both those games last night were, one, this cup worked, man. It just did. Like, this is mid-December, and these teams, especially the Hawks and the way you saw the Rockets and how upset the Warriors are here, they play hard. They are playing harder to advance to Vegas. Obviously get more money for some of their guys to maybe win this thing, so that works. And then you said it, Tats, like, there's been a lot of talk like, I don't like the NBA anymore. It's just teams bombing threes left and right. It's like, this has a little bit more of a playoff atmosphere to it where the defense is cranked up a little bit. Now, some of these are really good defensive teams, especially with the Hawks suddenly becoming one over the last couple weeks. That quiets those haters, I guess, too, a little bit. This is not that. This was not that. This was a bit of a dogfight here.
the dads, and the grandpas who watched basketball all must have liked this thing. It was ugly from both sides. Both sides were.
I was going to say the basketball last night was not pretty, but in a weird way, it was entertaining.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and Golden State played great D. I mean, Draymond Green blocked Jalen Green in the corner with 2+ minutes left. That was green on green crime. That was nice. But he healed. He was
nice last night.
Yeah. I don't remember this many good defensive plays. I mean, he had a block from behind.
Yeah.
He stole it from Şengün when Şengün didn't see him in the sort of the backcourt. He poked a steal from Şengün on another opportunity, who I thought was the monstrous difference in this
I was going to say, let's get to Şengün. We
was
probably
so
waited
good.
too long there. 26 points in 32 minutes, 10 of 18 from the floor, 6 of 7 at the line, 11 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals. He had that one, I guess that basket was on Looney, right? That one right down the stretch. Just sort of like, no, I'm going to get by you. I'm strong enough. He finished inside. He was the difference maker in this game where there wasn't a lot of points. He's been awesome. He's an all-star for the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, I think he would be their all-star. Had that beautiful dish as well. The no-look to maybe it was Eason underneath. Eason or Thompson. I don't remember who it was. Got to celebrate by doing the 3 goggles.
Yeah,
but, you know what? That means good vision nowadays.
That's the thing. Everybody who drops a good pass does that now.
But I like it. Very Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, exactly.
But man, it's awesome also watching Şengün go against Draymond Green. That was just cool to watch because Şengün's a post-up player. We don't see a lot of post-ups every single night. So Draymond had to throw it back to like early 2010s playing post defense. That's where you see some of the problems with the Rockets. It's like their best offense down the stretch was we're trying to get post buckets on Draymond Green. It wasn't happening. Suddenly, Looney comes in for a sub. Also, I didn't think the Warriors wanted to give up a 3, so they're like, we're not helping at all. Yeah. Beautiful Smitty from Şengün to finish at the rim. I also got to give some credit to Jalen Green. He didn't have a good game. 5 for 15 from the field, 5 turnovers, made a huge hustle play, and 2 clutch free throws to ice it. After having a poor game. Those were his first 2 free throws of the night. I mean, that guy probably is thinking, I should have got some calls last night.
Yeah.
Just throwing his body into the lane and hitting the ground time after time. That was great for the Rockets to pull this off, to break the streak against the Warriors by kind of being the tougher team. Like, I thought Tari Eason was a great leader in this one. They had that mic'd up clip with him where he's like, insulting everybody like we got to play a little better, hit a big 3 in the fourth quarter. He was the guy all over Steph Curry on the inbounds play, didn't give him any sort of room to try any kind of shot. So good stuff up and down the roster, I thought, from Houston.
And you saw the celebration after they pulled out this victory. The crowd was hyped. The players were hyped. And they now go on to Vegas. We've got the bracket here for you. Our 2 matchups are set. We do know that the Eastern Conference semifinals matchup will be the first game on Saturday. As soon as we touch down in Vegas, we're going to have to hustle over there to catch that first game that starts at like 1:30 local time, 4:30 Eastern. But it's Bucks, Hawks, and then I guess we got to leave the arena and then come back in a little bit later for Thunder Rockets. You have a favorite in this task? You still sticking with OKC to get it done, even though Houston has beat them? Who are you picking to win the Cup, Perry? Call your shot.
Well, I'm excited to see the Hawks. First and foremost, getting off the airplane, I'm definitely going to be wearing my Hawks gear.
Wow!
Make sure you wear your Hawks gear because we don't have a lot of time. Not a lot of time.
Do you think they'll say something on the flight? Show of hands, who's going to the NBA Cup game in Vegas today? Where are the Hawks fans at?
What's the line? What's the biggest line on that? There's got to be a line. There's got to be a line on everything. Yeah, I will say no chance.
Plus 10,000.
Give me plus 10,000.
But I could talk to them, say something when I get on.
You could. Yeah.
Okay, so you're excited for the Hawks. You think the Hawks are going to win this whole thing?
Well, no, who knows? Okay. I think they have a chance of winning against the Milwaukee Bucks. They do.
Against Taurean Prince and Darvin Ham, undefeated in Cup play. Good luck, my man.
Hawks legends.
Right.
OKC's clearly the favorite, but
Yeah, it's one and done. It's sort of like
That's right,
anything can happen in a basketball game. Cool. That's why we have the best of 7 series. You more times than not get the better team advancing, but these are like you can go cold for a night. But who are you picking, TK?
I mean, the Thunder are the favorites.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to that game, Thunder Rockets.
Same here.
The question is, like, the Thunder have a couple of go-to guys. Like, the Thunder and Rockets are very similar teams to me. Like, the way they're built with long, active defenders who are young, great defense. But on the other side, OKC has an MVP candidate and a superstar. But look, so did the Warriors. Yep. And he didn't show up in the game. So if Shea has a poor shooting night, Houston can do it.
All right, very excited. We'll be in Vegas come Saturday. We'll be doing a podcast soon after those 2 semifinal games. So obviously make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Okay,
Let me quick drop some notes on that game, Rockets Warriors. Alperen Şengün congratulating or shaking hands with Draymond Green after the game. Was surprised I did some mouth reading. I think Alperen Şengün said, "I love your game." He gave a lot of respect to Draymond Green after they were going head-to-head, battling on the inside. So that's a respect. It's also showing how Şengün he's grown. He's really grown up. He looks like a different player out there. Also, just randomly, did you see Pat Spencer, number 61 for the Golden State Warriors, wearing the long sleeve undershirt under his jersey? Frankly, I thought that was a fan for half a second, right? I mean, not to be racist, the racist play about the white guy on the bench, but it did look like a fan, didn't it?
It's like, how'd that guy get there?
Yeah, kind of.
The long sleeves.
Yeah, the long sleeves.
He played a couple minutes too.
Yeah. Then
Why?
he wasn't a fan.
Why? He did fine, but why?
He scored. Yeah.
You don't gotta play all your guys.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, Alperen Şengün's, I just had a note on his free throw routine. It's good for him, how he kind of bounces it in his fingers before he lets it rip.
You like that?
I don't know. I kind of, it would irk me with the ball because I don't have the touch that Alperen Şengün does. But he kind of he gets it on the tips of his fingers and then he is ready to rip it and then he rips it. I don't know. It's different. It's just different. That's all I got to say.
I don't know. He must be a
He's
decent
got good touch. Didn't Ibaka do that too? Like, he would like up on his fingertips.
Yeah, he'd go hand to hand.
Yeah, he's improved drastically from last year. He was sub 70%. He's up to 77%. Alperen Şengün.
That'll do.
Keep tipping and fondling the ball, I guess. I don't know what you want to call that.
And fondling.
All right, let's get to some news. Toronto Raptors forward Scottie Barnes has a sprained right ankle. That is confirmed. The team announced it Wednesday. The injury will be reassessed in a week and then updated as necessary after that. But he's likely going to miss multiple weeks of action here. Tass, you're shaking your head.
This is phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal in a bad way, obviously, but to keep seeing these, that's the phenomenal part. To keep seeing an injury after an injury, it's like a death by 1,000 cuts. I mean, it's over and over and over and over again.
The Raptors team, or
the whole freaking team.
Yeah,
I wanted to see their top 3 guys in Barnes, Quickly, and Barrett play together. They haven't played in 10 months together. They made these big moves to try and see what younger players could do. Again, that's a long time to not play together. And this season, after Quickly went down in the first game. He went under, it was over sort of Darius Garland, and then fell to the ground. And then after that pelvic injury, he hurt his UCL, his elbow, the classic baseball injury that's going around right now. I mean,
he's played like 2.5 games.
Yeah,
Quickly has. Yeah.
So they haven't had their starting point guard. Scottie Barnes in and out. Broke the orbital when Jokic smacked him in the face, unfortunately. And with his goggles there, he turns on his ankle. I mean, it's over and over. And RJ Barrett has been awesome, but there's a bit of a drop off. I know guys Jonathan Mobile's been great. Grady Dick has been great at times. Jamal Shedd's been great at times. They've got a lot of guys chipping in. So I do feel like this is one of the better teams that towards the bottom of the standings. It's just painful to see it over and 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 over again. I feel like Mike Brown doing that press conference the other day, repeating myself.
After possession.
Yeah, possession after possession. Because it is injury after injury after injury.
And Barnes was, when he was out there, setting career highs in points and rebounds, assists. He was averaging like 21, 8 and 8, basically. And his three-pointer had been coming around as of late, too, so that was nice. But, he's gone again, Trey. They went 2-9 without him. Those 11 games he missed with the fracture to the face. That included a tough road stretch, a 5-game road trip, But, Davion Mitchell now basically will get the start at point guard because that's sort of what Barnes is. And you go from there. But, yeah, no Quickly. I guess they got Kelly Olynyk back from his back injury, but Cowboy Bruce Brown hasn't mounted up once. Hasn't left the saloon. So, he's recovering from a knee surgery. It's just a disappointing year for the Raps.
Yeah, it's sad we're going to miss Bruce Brown at Cowboy Christmas in Las Vegas. It ends on Saturday when we arrive. Oh,
Cowboy Christmas, go on. What is that?
Well, it's the World Rodeo Finals in Las Vegas now. December 5th through 14th, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you think Bruce Brown knew that heading into like group play
Yes.
And he was like, guys, you got to get me to Vegas.
Get me to Vegas. I'm already packed. Let's go. So sad for him. Sad for the Raptors. A lot of bad luck injuries for Barnes. He missed the end of last season, right, with a broken hand. That's a freak injury. Getting hit in the face, broken face, that is too. Landing on a foot. Bad stuff. Good for the Raptors draft pick, I think, because they will remain in the bottom 5.
This is true. Go to tankathon.com every day and give it one sim. I've won once for the Raptors to get Cooper Flag. So more times than not, the Raptors are dropping somehow. Yeah, that's never good. But, I have bad luck, so who knows?
I think Bruce Brown could take a flight and get to Las Vegas while he's not playing, if he wanted to, right?
To go to
That's actually a good point. They got time off, right?
Lots of time off.
They do.
So much time off. Just a quick flight to go see the rodeos or whatever they do.
I guess, yeah.
Can we ask Grish
for tickets to that too?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Why not?
Go ahead. Yeah.
We have days in Vegas between the semifinals and the finals. I know there won't be a rodeo going on, but we do have 2 hours in between each of the semifinal games.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, are you gonna go see the Grand Canyon or something like that? You want to go take a helicopter ride?
I thought
it's not cheap, I don't think, but
no. I thought we were going to ATV. There were some rumors out there.
Well, we always talk about doing go-karts, and we never do. Maybe this is the year we finally go do go-karts, JD. What do you think? Come on.
Oh, I'm in 100%.
We say that every year. Yeah, you got to lead it.
Oh, I have to lead it? All right, we're going go-karting.
All right.
Going karting.
Sweet.
I'll be there.
All right. Other piece of news here. In a poll of 40 executives around the NBA conducted by the Athletics' Sam Amick, John Hollinger, Mike Vorkunov, the Oklahoma City Thunder front office voted as the league's best with 354 total points. Celtics finishing second with 250 in points. We're doing the whole 10 points for first place, 7 points for second, stuff like that. Heat coming third, 114 points. The execs were presidents, general managers, VPs, assistant GMs. Trey, were you surprised at all with the Thunder sort of running away with this anonymous poll from these other execs as the best front office, or sort of what you expected?
How did they not get every vote for first place?
They appeared on 39 of the 40 ballots and received 29 first place votes.
Yeah, I think they should have got 40 first place votes.
Okay.
They've got an MVP candidate. They're the best team in the Western Conference, and they've got the best stash of future draft assets. They've got 3 players that literally any team would want on their team in Shea, Chet, and Jalen Williams. So I think they are clearly the best front office in the game right now.
Yeah, within the article it says Sam Presti's latest Thunder creation is capable of 2 things that are typically impossible to accomplish at the same time: title contention and extreme flexibility for the future because of all the young talent and all of the draft picks. And they are one of the best teams in the league already here.
They're stocked for the future. As Trey said, the cupboard is full. It's literally flooding with picks. The Boston at number 2, it's understandable.
Oh, yeah.
It is working around the margins. They did a great job for Brad Stevens and those. He came in with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum already on the team.
Yeah.
Danny Ainge did that. Brad Stevens comes in and worked, again, the margins to get Drew Holiday, to get Derek White. To
get Horford, to get Porzingis.
Yeah.
That's a lot of moves there to add to that, to what they became a championship team around Brown and Tatum, for sure. That makes sense.
It's nice to see Memphis on there and Miami on there.
Yeah.
You think Miami deserves to be third?
That's interesting. So they're in third spot. Is that just sort of reputation, I guess? That's the Pat Riley's been there forever. Yeah. Obviously won some championships. He's been there since 95, I think, the head boss. And sort of win 3 championships, make it to 7 finals. Yeah, just sort of consistently year after year being in the mix for the most part. I think that's what it is.
That's 100% what it is, because you can't name a Heat transaction in the last 2 years that's good. They didn't do the Dame trade. They traded for Terry Rozier. He comes off the bench now. They drafted Jaquez. Nice.
That was nice.
He had a good rookie season. Hasn't done much this year. Jovic hasn't really developed. They are awesome at finding guys on the scrap heap, but the biggest success they've had with that one recently is Max Strus, and he's on the Cavaliers. Also, Gabe Vincent. He's not on the team anymore either. But they do have a long track record of being awesome with Pat Riley there. Eric Spoelstra, we know, is one of the top coaches in the league, but I don't necessarily think that in 2024-25, the Heat are one of the best front offices right now.
Yeah, the Spoelstra move is one of Pat Riley's greatest moves. Just hiring Eric Spoelstra, who turned teams into NBA finalists. Obviously, Jimmy did that. A lot of players did that, but Eric Spoelstra has been awesome. I was a little disappointed to see to not see the Atlanta Hawks on there. Just a little bit of tip to Landry Fields being able to acquire quality players while at the same time undoing past mistakes by going and getting Dyson Daniels and undoing the DeJounte Murray move of giving draft pick after draft pick after draft pick for DeJounte Murray, prior to him getting the job as GM. It's a great move. Giving away John Collins to unleash Jalen Johnson. It's a great move. So that's helped.
Now, if you do this poll again next year, and the Hawks make a run here or whatever, then maybe he gets a little bit of love. Yeah, but Grizzlies and Wolves were the only other teams that received at least one first place vote outside of those top three.
I actually think the Rockets should be in the top 10 as well.
Okay.
They're fourth in record right now, and only OKC has better team building going on. The Rockets have the second biggest pile of draft picks waiting. They're obviously a good team right now, but OKC is a little bit ahead because, like we said, they got all-stars already on their roster, and there's maybe one on the Houston roster.
And have already at least previously been to the postseason and won a series. Stuff
Raphael
like that.
Stone did it again. When he signed that Christian Wood 3 to whatever it was, 25 year, I thought that was a great deal. Didn't work, but he's made some good deals. Obviously, they look like this team that are like OKC B level, a step down, but that same type of team.
All right, final piece of news here: the NBA and FIBA are in quote a serious conversation about starting a new European league, which would likely try to draw top clubs and compete with the existing EuroLeague. The head of the international governing body for basketball said, quote, "The next month will show where we are headed in this matter." He was doing his sort of annual press conference, and this is where this came up. So exploring the idea of a whole other league, European league, backed by the NBA to possibly compete here with EuroLeague. Do you have any takeaways from this article from Joe Vardon at The Athletic?
Well, the thought is that the NBA is good at globalizing the game and better at putting it on every social media stream than the EuroLeague has been. I mean, the EuroLeague will still exist and still be what it is, but the NBA is damn good at winning the social stream battle. I mean, that's part of it. They're trying to globalize the game, hence why they go and get Amazon to be part of this. I mean, they're very good at that. So that's what part of the comments were from my man Andreas Zaglis, who is my Greek brother from another mother.
Nice.
But
the head of FIBA, right?
Yeah. He basically said, we just need to publicize ourselves more, and that's where they would get the NBA involved. Now, I don't know how a secondary league works exactly. Like how, where, which teams? That's just a little bit more. It's a little too.
So. Well, for those that don't know, EuroLeague is, I guess, arguably the best league besides the NBA in the world. It consists of 18 of the continent's best teams, including 13 permanent members, and then 5 teams that get in by way of qualifying. So we're talking like your more permanent members are like your sort of powerhouse clubs of EuroLeague, be it FC Barcelona, Real Madrid, stuff like that. And I guess they're shareholders in EuroLeague, and then they operate under a license, but that license is expiring in 25-26, and a lot of them have not signed. So maybe there's an opening here that FIBA is seeing, and they're seeing dollar bills here and saying, hey, there's a lot of money to be made over here in European basketball. NBA, you want in? Because you're struggling to grow the game domestically because of the mighty football. International is the way to go.
Well, they are growing the game domestically. Did you see the new TV deal?
The TV deal for sure.
It's ginormous.
But the next decade for NBA, the growth's going to come internationally more than here. How can it not? Because there's untapped markets.
Yeah,
this is a perfect example. This is what I'm seeing or reading into. It's like Silver is seeing like, oh yeah, there's an opportunity here. Yeah. EuroLeague is leaving a lot of money left on the table. That's what the FIBA.
Okay, so how does building up the EuroLeague and European basketball help the NBA?
Well, Silver has openly talked about how he loves the European Academy for players and stuff like that to grow the game that way. He always talks about that because he has an infatuation with the soccer development, and that's sort of more the European way, even in basketball with these clubs. So there's that part.
Yeah, to get amongst the grassroots and to get into the eyeballs of kids. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, I just don't know how the teams and the league actually works. Like the NFL has tried NFL Europe in the past. It hasn't succeeded. But basketball is a global game. So I could see it.
Any other
functioning.
thoughts on this? Do you think this is realistic, I guess? Do you see this actually happening here where the NBA and FIBA create a whole other league to compete against your league and maybe take some of these teams that I listed?
Yeah, maybe. I guess if there's money to be made, the NBA knows how to make money. It seems to be one of their strengths. But I'm like, they tried G League Ignite because they were jealous of developmental programs overseas and top-notch players going other places, and that didn't work out at all. They had no developmental system, and they're like, this is actually hurting players, even though most of the Ignite guys are pretty solid, it turns out. So I don't know what that's all about. I hope what happens is that this somehow leads to the NBA taking stuff from FIBA and becoming more FIBA-like from the not just the development, but the physicality, the strategy, the lack of timeouts at the end, and not the other way where the FIBA game becomes more like the NBA, because that would be a major downgrade. The other thing that interests me is that, like, maybe this down the road leads to NBA teams playing against European teams in games that matter.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I think the tournament sort of fantasy kind of works a little bit more, rather than like these intense like leagues or a secondary league, but more of like a branch for the NBA guys who don't make it here. To go and play there and then play in these tournaments with the EuroLeague. I don't think they're going to steal EuroLeague teams. I don't think that can happen. I don't think it should happen. I think the EuroLeague is big and functioning extremely well. So I do see it more of as a branch like the G League Ignite were, until I think what happened to the G League Ignite was the NIL deals. That killed them. Name, image, and likeness players were able to sign and make more money.
I thought that's why they started the G League Ignite, was because of the NIL deals. They wanted to give NBA level prospects a way to make money like they would in college, but then the development didn't go well for them when they were playing specifically for the G League, because like the Ignite team was like 2-25 or something last year, the Buzelis team.
Yeah, the development wasn't good, but then the college money and the NIL money turned up a notch. I mean, it went so big. It definitely strengthened like the WNBA and players who can actually go get paid otherwise from outside their leagues.
Yeah, but if it's all money, then they could invest the money that they would be using to start this league, which is obviously going to be expensive. They could pay the G League Ignite more if they wanted to get on the NIL levels. I don't understand why they're doing this, except for that they can.
Yeah, that's why I don't think they're going to put too much money in it. I think it's more just like another G League where you play games occasionally in front of these European cities, like tournament, more of a tournament rather than like a league year round. I don't know. I think it's
All right, let's get to our pick'em game for tonight. There's only 3 games on tonight. Sort of a very weird schedule this week. It's Pistons Celtics, it's Raptors at Heat, and then it's our pick'em game task, Kings at Pelicans.
Yeah, the lines are all pretty juicy. They're pretty big. The Celtics favored by 12.5 at home to the Pistons. Heat favored by 10.5 at home to the Scottie Barnes-less Toronto Raptors, unfortunately. So I went with the other close line, the only close line. The Sacramento Kings favored by 5.5 in New Orleans. That's the closest line you can get. Trey, the only one to take the New Orleans Pelicans at home, plus 5.5. Now, the Pelicans have been playing all right. I know, because their season, even worse than Toronto Raptors in terms of injuries, makes it feel like they're not playing all that good. But their last 3 games, they beat the Phoenix Suns. Then they lost to the Thunder, obviously a fantastic team, by 10, and only by 5 to the Spurs. So they would have covered that if it had the same line. In a really, really, really weird small stat, the Pelicans were 6-0 versus the Kings last season. 6-0.
Oh yeah, they beat them on the road in the quarterfinal game.
Yeah, the quarterfinal game, and then they ended up playing them in the play-in game for the actual playoffs. So they had an extra game during the regular season to make it a 5 number, because they were just scheduled for 4, but because they played them in the in-season tournament, it became 5. Then they played them in the play-in and it became 6. So I'm throwing. I mean, that's not really a part of the season, that 6th game. But
it counts to us, damn it.
It does. It does. So I can understand why Trey's the only one taking the Pelicans.
Got their number. And you got some points to play with, plus 5.5 at home. Everybody else on Sacramento.
Did you pick it just because everybody else was on the Kings?
Sacramento?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good spot to be, though. That always wins.
Yeah. You're in a great
Yeah,
spot.
I thought about
And hey,
taking
you're
the
only a
Pelicans.
game clear of Ash after
Yeah,
your
yeah.
loss last night.
Yeah.
Incredibly, the Warriors covered.
Yeah, the Warriors
Despite
covered
losing.
a 1.5 point line.
My last 2 losses in Pick'em have been the team that I picked winning and not covering by 1 point.
Yeah, yeah.
The Lakers did it
It's
too.
so funny.
Same.
This. You go through stretches. That was happening to me the last month. I kept losing by 1 point on the wrong side. Now I got the horseshoe up my ass, and I keep winning these
Yeah.
by 1 point.
I picked
That's why
the
I'm
Atlanta
6-2.
Hawks. Yeah, you're picking the lucky teams.
It's just
That's
lucky.
how it works.
Yeah, it's just a crapshoot.
Can't wait to gamble in Vegas.
We'll talk about yeah, exactly.
Make it real.
We'll talk about that game possibly and some of those other games on tomorrow's Drop podcast. And in addition, big news, guys. Tomorrow, it's the return of the Hamaka Schlemmer catalog.
Let's go.
We've got the gift guide. I've picked the gifts for the boys. They will guess the price for each gift as we go through this insane Hamaka Schlemmer catalog. Can't wait.
Wow.
Can't wait. It's an annual tradition here in No Ducks. We're doing it. This might be the earliest we've ever done it. Got to do it before we go to Vegas.
That's right.
You know? You never know if you're going to come back from Vegas. That's the problem. So
Is
we gotta
that
do it.
tree available?
Trey, yes, this tree is available.
Yeah, of course.
And there's a lot of, obviously, Christmas decorations in this one,
Cool.
in this gift guide. But, well, you'll find out tomorrow what I've picked for the guys. Good batch this year, I think.
Take a look at this crowd.
Yeah, take a look at this crowd. So that's tomorrow. If you're new to the show, it's a very weird segment that we've done for like a decade now. And finally, the Hamaka Schlemmer has recognized the hard work I've been putting in. I'll share those details tomorrow. But if you're a Survivor fan, join us later today at 1 p.m. Eastern to recap last night's episode 13, the penultimate episode of Survivor 47. You only have one more left. Lots to talk about. It was a 2-hour episode.
Oh, man.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, all I did was watch television last night between 2 NBA Cup games and a 2-hour episode of Survivor.
It was great. I was on playback with Trey for the first half. Then he jumped on to watch Survivor and I guess was watching Survivor at the same time while commenting on playback.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
I was in the chat for a second when DeAndre
Yeah.
Hunter threw down.
I saw you
I dropped a caca. Yeah. It was a commercial break. So yeah, that's No Bust. That's at 1 p.m. That's its own YouTube feed. That link is in the show notes. So thanks for joining us. Really fun quarterfinal action. Hopefully it's just as entertaining come Vegas over the weekend. We'll see you tomorrow though for the Drop Podcast. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you're a podcast listener, we've got some fun happening tomorrow. Not only just in general, the Hamaka Schlemmer catalog, but on YouTube, you can see a beautiful festive frame.
That was festive.
I
festive.
had forgotten how JD cranked the Hamaka Schlemmer catalog graphics last year.
Me too.
They're nice. I went back and watched the
Nice.
clip. I was like, oh yeah, this guy loves this segment because it's only once a year. All right, embrace the day, people.